So welcome to part 2 on new home sales opportunities on our series done. Last time in part 1, we talked about why there are opportunities in new home sales and how a lot of agents don't really make it part of their real estate business. Many of you see the opportunities, you see new construction, or maybe you don't see the new construction, but it's out there. So I'd like for you to do a little quick recap on what we talked about in part 1.
Our discussion was first, why are there opportunities in new home sales? Why does it offer tremendous opportunities for agents in all areas of the country to expand your business?
It's amazing how many of them don't have new home sales as part of their day-to-day real estate. They look at it like as a niche, but it's out there.
Exactly.
Whether it's hitting you but square between the eyes or you're not seeing it, trust us, it's out there.
And what we found is a lot of agents are simply afraid of it. We're afraid of builders. We're afraid of the new construction arena because we don't understand what's going on. And of course, learning that language of construction, having the confidence can make a big difference. What I'd like to do is just a quick recap on what we discussed when we talked about why there are opportunities. We talked about market dynamics. We said we have an overall shortage of housing, and this has been going on for some time. It's going to go on for a while yet, literally millions of homes. And where are they going to come from, Tree?
Yep. They're going to come from new construction, guys. That's right.
Developers developing and builders building. Inventory has increased. Currently, we don't know how that's going to shake out long term, but either way, the seller of an existing home can say, you know what, I'm just going to take my home off the market. Right now, I'm not ready. If prices are coming down or buyers are not eager to buy, builders have to build. They have to keep building, right?
That's how they're paying their bills.
That's right, putting food on the table. So they have to keep the machine running. So builders, when the market slows down a little bit, are doing mortgage buy downs, they're offering incentives. They always have to keep those wheels turning. We said the majority of buyers, 60% of all active home shoppers, want to shop for a new home. They prefer a new home. We know they're not all going to go ahead and ultimately buy that new home, but if we position ourselves as an expert to help guide them through the process, if ultimately they buy the new home, great. If they decide to buy an existing home, and in the majority of cases, those buyers have an existing home to sell as well.
It's a double dip. I like that.
That's right. We talked about the fact that most agents don't have expertise, so this allows you to stand out, differentiate yourself, and gain a competitive edge. More builders today than ever before want to work with us. So they want to pay us co-broke commissions. Smaller and medium-sized builders are struggling more than ever to compete with the big builders. The big builders have the technology. And they absolutely need us.
They do. They want you to do the sales and marketing. They don't. They just want to build. But you definitely need to be showing your value, demonstrating why that builder needs you, be able to bond with the builder. Relate to each other. That makes a huge difference.
We also talked about the fact that there's huge income opportunities if you specialize in the new homes arena.
Yeah, we talked about turning on a spigot in your business, a new revenue stream that you have not thought about. Like, for example, marketing yourself as a new home buyer representative and intercepting the buyers before they go to the builder. But make sure, like I said, when you have that opportunity, you need to be prepared that you really are showing them how you're going to differentiate the new home from the resale.
Right. And then the last thing, and we touched on it already, new home sales drives resale. So the buyers of new homes have existing homes to sell. We call it the bait that brings the fish into the boat. If we're promoting our ability to help people shop for new homes, and again, a majority of people want to do that, 90% of active home shoppers want to work with a skilled, trained real estate professional. We've got an opportunity to connect with more buyers, and many of those are also sellers of their existing homes. So that's really the quick recap, I think, of what we talked about in part 1.
Yep. So what are the opportunities, Den? What are the opportunities in new home sales? Number 1, we got builder-developer representation. But getting the wrong builder, like you always say, it's like getting a disease, okay? Because if you don't know what you're looking for, yes, exactly.
When we get ready to do our breakout sessions, we get ready to do a presentation, it's not unusual to have somebody come up. I am so excited because I've been wanting to get a builder. And I understand that. Lots of folks in real estate say, I want to get a builder. I want to have somebody producing listings and those paychecks lining up and building a pipeline. But one of my favorite responses is, listen, getting a builder could be like getting a disease.
Yep.
Could be the worst thing that ever happened to you. So the key is to understand how to find the right builders and put together the successful relationships. So this first category here, builder developer representation, this is what most agents think of when they think about getting into the new homes arena. We've had thousands, tens of thousands of agents who've gone out there and are doing that business successfully. And it can be working with a builder that's doing 5, 10 homes a year. It can be subdivisions, 20, 30, 50. We've had folks launching and selling out 200, 300, 500 unit subdivisions. So lots of opportunity in that arena, but not necessarily for everyone.
No, and do you remember that we did a class? This was in Atlanta, Georgia, years ago. And Dennis is going through all the items that a builder should be doing. These are the things your builder should be doing, right? Well, you're like on item 10 and this woman just says, that's it. We're like, wait, what's wrong? She says, I have to fire my builder. He doesn't do any of these things on the list. So I love it. It's a key to know, don't waste your time, because a year goes by that fast, but a year with the wrong builder, not making the money you should be, just because for whatever reason, they're just not a good business person. Know it up front. You'll know what to look for. You'll know what the signs are.
It's kind of like in cards where they say know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Right?
Exactly.
And the sad thing is, many of us are so committed to making it work. We're not going to give up.
Sure.
We find ourselves, it's kind of like in a marriage that just has gone sideways and can't be repaired. So you need to know what to look for, hopefully before you get into that situation. So what I want to do is just kind of break down builder developer representation here into just a few little categories. And the first one I have is market home sales. Now, what do they often call market home sales?
Spec home.
Spec homes. You've heard the term spec
specs,
homes.
yeah.
And I've always disliked that term. You know, many years ago when I was custom building, I didn't, a spec is something on your glasses or your windshield that drives you crazy.
Sure.
So I came up with the term market homes, and I think that term is much more appropriate. And we explain to people that after years and years of experience and working with families or couples or folks just like you in the market, we periodically build homes in between our custom building, right? Depending on the nature of the builder. We build homes that are designed to create a tremendous amount of value for folks we know are out in this marketplace looking for something that gives them flexibility, modern living, whatever the features are that we're featuring in our market home.
Hey there, friends. If you want to tap into new home sales, this tool is a game changer.
The free new home market analyzer shows you what's being built, where, and by whom in your market area in seconds.
And no digging through data. Just type in your zip code. It's free to use. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly.
So I think it's a much nicer way to present
Very
that
nice
concept. But the whole idea is these are, in essence, spec homes. They're homes the builder is building and then hoping to sell. And it's nice to have that kind of inventory going. And right now we've seen a trend with many of the major builders who for a while were just continuing to take orders and getting further and further behind in those orders, and then having to deal with material and land price increases, where they said, you know what, we're going to start just building more market homes and selling those so that we have a little more control over that and don't get caught up in some of these challenging situations with the buyers.
See, relocation buyers seem to be the ones that are always looking for those market homes.
Yeah, and I think another term to be aware of is QMI. They refer to them as QMI homes, quick move-in. And so that's pretty appealing. And there's an awful lot of people out there who are much better off finding something and seeing at least some light at the end of the tunnel. 60, 90 days, they know that home's going to be ready and they can make that move. So that's the market home sales. Then we have custom home sales. And what do you think? Is that worthwhile?
100%. That's what you used to do. Are you
exactly,
kidding? You built really gorgeous custom homes.
And when we talk about custom home sales, keep in mind there's a number of different approaches to it. In some cases, there's folks who will hire an architect. They then go out with their plans and specifications, and they will then have an X number of builders, 3, 4 builders all bid on it to see who's going to get the best price or the combination of what they think is going to be their best relationship. and the best price. Then there's design build custom homes, and that's where the buyers, the homeowners, work with the builder, and the builder does that design work in-house. So whether the builder has a design department, architect on staff, or in my case, I used to design all the homes that I built. And it was just something that I enjoyed doing, and people really enjoyed the designs.
And yours were gorgeous.
Well,
I mean,
thank you.
Who is it, real quickly? Who was that? He would move in with the family for like a month because it was a custom home to just learn their way of.
Well, that was an architect. It was an architect that I knew, and he was pretty talented, and he would
He must
tell
have been
people.
single. I can't imagine.
I think so.
But yeah.
What he would say to the people when they wanted to hire him to design their home, all right, when can I move in for a few days? And they'd say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he says, no, I want to come, and I just want you to ignore me. He says, I'm just going to kind of be in the background. I'm taking notes, and I'm thinking, can you imagine you're in the bathroom
No.
and this guy's in there, measuring things and taking notes. But his strategy was pretty impressive. His strategy was, I want to see how you really live in your home. And I think based on my skill and experience, I may pick up things that you've never even thought of.
Yeah, because everybody thinks they're going to build the perfect home.
Right.
And somebody from the outside, it's true. I think it's a
With
great
that
idea
expertise, yeah.
to look at how this is going to be a much more efficient way for you to live. Okay,
Yeah, he'd watch the kids and family and the dog and come to some great conclusions. So anyway, custom home sales, a pretty important area. And I think the idea to realize here is that, again, the custom home builders, probably more so than any builders, really just want to build homes. Many of them are smaller volume builders. Many of them still are swinging the hammer or bringing some of their own trade skills to the job. And they don't necessarily love selling the homes. They don't necessarily love holding hands with people on all the selections and helping them to get their financing in order and a lot of the different things we can do to help facilitate the deal. So there are some tremendous opportunities to work with custom builders. And let's say you meet a custom builder and this builder says, ultimately, I'd like to build maybe 5 or 6 custom homes this year. And maybe another builder wants to do 10 or 12. Over time, you pick up a few of these builders and you're saying to them, listen, I'll get you your 5 or 6 deals. I'll bring you your 12 deals. I'll do the marketing. I'll work with the clients. I'll help them zero in on what they want. I'll help them with selections. Again, all these details that we can teach you on how to do new homes right, how to bring value, as you indicated.
Yep.
Right. And what happens now? You have those builders lined up.
Now, what's beautiful now, you have a little pipeline going.
Exactly.
So you know where your next paycheck is coming, which is one of my favorite in real estate. You can't do it in resale, only new homes.
Right. And you start out, imagine you start out every year. Everybody's doing their annual, their yearly planning, and they're looking at the calendar and hoping the phone's going to ring and that they're going to get some listings and get some momentum. And we know that can come out of the blue any day, so that's great. In the case of having these custom home builder relationships, how cool is it to start out the year and say, basically, I've got about a dozen or 20 or 30 essentially pocket listings, homes that haven't been built yet. And the builder has the building lots, or I have a relationship with a developer where we can buy the building lots and put these deals together. And you now just have to get to work with these folks, bringing these deals to life.
And if I may, real quick, I've had a lot of agents through the years when we're at conventions. I can't tell you how often I hear the agent say, yeah, I approached the builder, but the builder doesn't want to work with me. And I look at them and I say, well, what are you saying? Because if you're saying everything like the right thing, which is, listen, I'm going to take on your sales and marketing. You build, you do your thing, because straight up, most builders, not good salespeople. You don't even want them to show up actually while you're working with them. Stay away. But truly, that's why there's so much opportunity. But again, being prepared so that that impression you leave with that builder, they need you. And then that's how your business starts growing. And maybe their goal is to do 30 homes, but they can't do it without you. So you'll work together to help build.
One of the points you mentioned, you touched on marketing several times.
Okay.
It's not just sales, the process of sales, but also marketing. And most builders just aren't great at it, especially smaller builders. Larger builders, they hire marketing specialists, marketing consultants. The small builders have to compete with that on some level.
This will give them a chance.
Right. They don't know how to do it, but that's what we do.
That's right.
They don't know how to use social media. They don't know how to integrate AI and leverage that in the marketing. So we bring that to the table and together create some great success. And I'll never forget, one of our graduates found a builder who had lost his business during the recession. wanted the worst way to get back into business,
Mhm.
helped him get back on his feet, find a building lot, helped him determine what to build,
Mhm.
marketed and sold that first home for this builder trying to get back into the business. And 5 years later, together, they built and sold 500 homes. So you talk about building a pipeline.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a
Keep
really
in
good-
mind that many of these builders are like a diamond in the rough.
Mhm.
And you have an opportunity to polish that diamond and turn
Mm-hmm.
it into something with some great success. And generally that success lasts a lifetime because there's generally a loyalty there when you help that builder grow and build
That's
that
true.
long-term business.
So true.
I think that's kind of exciting. All right, what's next on our list here?
Building lot sales.
Yeah, building lot sales, out there selling dirt. And I often call this selling mud, right? Because you got a street cut in the mud. Maybe there's trenches through the mud and piles of mud. Depends on where you are. Some areas it's sand.
Yeah.
But a lot of areas of this country, it's mud. There's old stakes and ribbons on them. And we're trying to convince people that right here in the middle of all this mud,
It's your dream
this
home.
is where your home ownership dreams will come true.
Yep.
And of course, there's strategies and techniques for selling that way, getting them out on the lots and walking and visualizing. We've got great AI visualization tools today where we can show them exactly what that home will look like on that lot, right? We can show them when the sun is setting and the views. Pretty exciting stuff. But the point
Lot
is
easier than getting out of the car and getting into that mud. So using iPhone. Yeah,
Right,
exactly. So
right.
much nicer.
But the beautiful thing about building lot sales is that you often have an opportunity to work with a developer and maybe also build connection with a builder or several preferred builders, put those deals together. In some cases, we may have an opportunity to market a subdivision. So our marketing and coordination is all done kind of on behalf of the developer. And then what we do in our sales center is work again with a handful of preferred builders. So there's various ways to tackle that, but your ability to coordinate, market, and handle building lot sales could lead to tremendous business. We had a phone call not long ago from someone who just completed our courses, went out and decided we talk about the idea of baking your own pie. We talk about the idea of being a creator, not a waiter. So this guy stuck little notes on his mirror and his car in his office that be a creator, not a waiter. Bake your own pie. We also talk about building your business on purpose.
Yes.
So he got up every day and he says, all right, I'm going to do something to bake my own pie. I'm going to do something to be a creator today. He's only been in real estate about a year and a half, calls us up. He says, I brought a 200-unit subdivision to life.
That was amazing.
It's my exclusive subdivision.
cool.
I found the land. I put the partners together. And that leads us to our next point here.
Which is raw land sales.
Raw land sales. So we're talking about finding those raw parcels of land. And I grew up in a hunting family. So I like to call this bird dogging land. Yeah, you
Not even
nowhere
close. No.
With bird dogs, they go into the bushes and they scare the birds out so the hunters can hunt. And hopefully, if it's a good bird dog, they bring the bird back. So that's kind of the key to bird dogging. But in the meantime, I've talked to so many people who are saying, you know what, you're right. I drive around my market area. One guy told me I've been driving by a parcel of land for 15 years. It turned out after looking into it and following some of the steps that we suggest, he was able to bring to life a 24-unit luxury condominium subdivision.
And Rick had been in the business over 30 years.
Yeah.
It's not like he was brand new. He just
Exactly.
he took the training and said, okay, wait a minute. Let me look at this a little bit differently.
So the idea is you want to put this stuff on your radar. Start looking around. You should know about every available parcel of land in your market area, what it is, what's the zoning, what can be done with it. And you now become a real wealth of knowledge, someone who can help builders and developers as they're trying to keep their machine going.
You become that go-to agent.
That's
You're
right.
that resource for sure. And then we get into the new home buyer representation. This is the piece I love. I think it's probably one of the biggest game changers for so many agents because we hear it all the time. We get super frustrated because buyers go directly to the builder.
Do you want to grow your business by adding a new homes revenue stream?
I really do, yes. Our free new home market analyzer gives you instant market insight.
Just enter a zip code or a city and get builder activity, permit data, pricing trends, and more.
It's easy, and it is built just for you. Totally free. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly. And instead of us asking, what is that? Why are they not thinking of me? Well, here's the deal, guys. If you think about going back to that spigot we talked about earlier, where you're now going to start building your business as that go-to agent for new homes. You become that new homes counselor, that advisor. You're going to intercept them to teach them what they need to know, what they don't know, how it differs, resale and new homes. They're completely two different animals. And which one might make sense? I'll show you the right builders. All of that. We're in the best position to do that. And guess what? You now have this opportunity to build the rapport that you may not have otherwise because they went directly to the builder. Right. So if they don't buy new, you now could help them find a resale home, but you've got that opportunity that would have been missed. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And we talked about the fact that many agents are saying, I don't really want to be tied to a builder. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be sitting on site. Yes. I don't want to sit in a model home. Mm-hmm. I want to keep my resale business still going successfully, but I'd like to add new homes into that business where I can. New home buyer representation is a tremendous way to do that.
Yep. I never wanted to sit on site for
you never want to do that.
Absolutely not.
What some of the folks have done, though, keep in mind, you move into new home buyer representation. You start to work with buyers. You're taking them to builders. We talk about putting together preferred builder relationships. So you're out meeting builders, connecting with them. You're working out your relationship on who's going to do what, how you're going to bring prospects in, and the commissions and how that's going to be paid, right? Very important stuff. In the process, as you build relationships, you start bringing buyers in, you'll find there are builders who say, hey, I really like the way you work. You're really helping my business. You're helping set the buyers up properly. You're bringing a lot of value. Would you be willing to help me out more? And so many agents have found that's a great door into builder representation if and when they're ready to pursue that.
True. Yep.
It's also another great way to get going with the custom builders.
Yep.
You bring a few deals to the builders and then say, hey, Tom, how many homes would you like to build next year? I'd like to build 7. I'd like to build 10. How about I bring you those homes? Here's what I will do. Here's my responsibilities. You can just focus on building. You can focus on maximizing the quality of what you're doing, maximizing the profitability, right?
Homes is just fun. New construction is just, it's fun, I mean, sometimes people are like, I just don't like to show people's homes. But new construction, it's all the latest and greatest stuff. So the last item done is infill building and development. This is tear down, rebuild opportunities. So you may be driving by an old building today. Next thing you know, there's condos, mixed use, retail, first floor, condos on the second floor. We teach you how to find these opportunities, package them, so you're creating your own inventory. Because that to me is super fun. Rather than waiting for that darn phone to ring, creating your own listings, creating your own inventory.
Right. It goes back to our don't be a waiter. So many agents are doing their marketing and saying, in essence, I'm waiting for the phone to ring. I hope somebody wants to buy or sell. Nothing wrong with that. We say, well, what about inventory? Well, I'm waiting for developers to develop and builders to build. Nothing wrong with that. Hoping maybe you can get in the door somewhere down the line. What if, instead of waiting, what if you were playing a role in bringing that into inventory? What if you're connecting with the builders and the developers up front? And as Teresa indicated, you're packaging these deals. You're helping them find the location, the property. You're helping them understand the potential, what can be done, what's going to be the most lucrative, right?
You know what I like? Here's what I like. Imagine now during the holidays, got your kids in the car or significant other, whomever, and you can now drive up to this property. You can say, see, because of me, this project is here or this building is here. Because of me, like you used to take the kids to show homes that you know.
So I remember walking that property and figuring out what it was going to be, and then pencil to paper back then, designing the home, and then hammering and nailing and bringing it to life. And of course, I'd be all excited to show the kids. Say, look at, and I'm thinking, look at the families here now, and they're celebrating holidays and birthdays, and they're building memories, and all of that came about because I helped them visualize and make that dream come true. And so I'm starting to get, a little tear in my eye, and I look and the boys are saying, can we just get to the football game?
Come on, we got to go.
I've had enough of this. So maybe they've got to be a little bit older to really appreciate it. But it's kind of cool. The thing about new homes that we're touching on here, is that you're playing a role in bringing something to life that was never there before. Are you looking to work with builders or help buyers in new home communities?
Try our free new home market analyzer. It's AI powered and gives you the latest local construction trends, builder lists, and price points and other important market information.
It's like having a new homes expert in your pocket, and it's free. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly. And that will possibly, hopefully, be there maybe a few hundred years after we're gone. It's kind of nice to be part of that creative process and to leave a positive mark on the world. Back to infill building for a moment. I'd just like to point out that it's estimated across this nation that about 30% of all residential building permits that are issued are for infill of some sort.
Wow.
So we're talking about tearing down old apartment buildings, old commercial buildings, hotels. We're talking also about repurposing properties. And there are so many properties across this country.
Especially after the pandemic. Think about so many of these commercial buildings, they're not being used anymore.
Sure. And we've seen indoor shopping malls now being converted to various living environments. We see planning commissions and communities are saying we need to get rid of the old stuff. We have one of our friends is in Cleveland, Ohio, and they're tearing down old properties. The city of Cleveland, they're making those properties available for almost nothing. And he's working with buyers, and they're coming in, putting in foundations, and then factory built homes are going on those properties. These homes are beautiful.
I know, it's amazing.
And affordable. And there's grants and there's tax abatements and a lot of things associated with that. So an opportunity to look into those kinds of opportunities, opportunity zones, ADUs being put in many properties, particularly in some of those infill areas. So a lot of different things to participate in. And what's exciting, as you look at this list of what are opportunities in new home sales, what I like to point out is, number one, it's far more expansive, I think, than most people would ever imagine as you think about new homes as a real estate professional. Number two, as the market changes, as things evolve, different opportunities are going to come available. So you may focus on one aspect. You may focus on infill at another time. You may say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pursue some raw land sales or help maybe bring a development to life. As the market changes, as your experience grows, as relationships grow over time, you will be amazed at the opportunities. And it kind of comes back to your first point in the part one. You mentioned right up front that this is not only about selling real estate and earning sales commissions, but you talked about that long-term financial success.
100%. Yep, having that beautiful pipeline. And that right there. So many, the top producers out there, they don't just focus on resale.
And we actually have many agents who will tell us a story of how they became an investor. They partnered with a builder, with a developer, maybe with other investors. We have people telling us the stories of how they're building their own rental portfolios. My gosh, we've got a young man in Utah who in about 8 to 10 years has gone from nothing. He said, I wanted to learn how to flip homes. And I wanted to learn how to market developments. So he became a certified new home specialist, and he has since, in that time frame, marketed successfully 20 different developments.
Unbelievable.
And he has amassed his own portfolio of roughly 200.
It looks like he's 15 years old.
200 rental properties. So I think that's pretty exciting. I hope these opportunities are exciting to you. And what we're going to do then is look forward when we get together next time. Part 3, and what we want to dig into, what are the beliefs holding us back, right? So we've laid out the market dynamics, why new home sales is important to your business. We've talked about what are the areas of opportunity, what are some of the specific areas you can pursue. And I've got to believe there's one or two or more in there that you would find exciting to add to your business at some point over time. But at the same time, there are beliefs, many agents are harboring concerns that are holding them back from success. So in part 3, we're going to dig into those. We're going to talk you through that. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed what we shared so far today. And don't forget, make sure you follow the links below we'd like you to visit sellnewhomes.com, where you can learn more about our designation training courses and more about other marketing tools and things we have to help you achieve the highest levels of success in real estate. So thanks very much. We'll see you again in our next video.
Thank you again for joining us. See you soon. Bye, guys.